Everybody that has ever worked with convicted felon, president, who we refer to as Kanks, Donald Trump, everybody's ever worked with him leaves that with a terrible impression of him. Most of the people have left and said he is a Nazi and he is Hitler. These are the people from the first administration. This is even his own current vice president, failed drag queen, Lil Smokey. But let's listen to Ty Cobb, his former attorney, talk about how dangerous Donald Trump is.
Well, I think if you go to 30,000 feet, what you see is a lot of moving parts, but simple themes. The simple themes are rewriting history. Trump wants to rewrite history so that the next generation may not know that he incited a violent insurrection, refused to peacefully transfer the power of the presidency after losing an election, stole classified documents and showed them to friends and guests at Mar-a-Lago, and that he was a criminal. I mean, he's a convicted felon. Anybody involved in those events that offended him, they're in real danger. So you have the rewriting history stuff.
Okay. So here, what he is saying is, this guy did not hand over, peacefully participate in the peaceful transfer of power. It's revisionist history, and anybody who has ever called him out and anybody who has ever spoken poorly of him is in real danger, because he arrived at the Oval Office with an enemies list, and Donald Trump is surrounded by morally depraved people that their number one identity is whatever I can do to make Kanks happy, which is crazy.
Well, the reality is this: Donald Trump pardoned the January 6th people that had been convicted by a federal court. He pardoned them as part of his rewriting of history. Now he wants a new committee to go in and investigate January 6th. Like, we have eyes. The only people that have taken the January 6th insurrection and made it a death step are his loyal followers and Fox Newsers. It is so gross and it is so wildly dangerous. And he's doing it with the Smithsonian. It's appalling that this man thinks that he can rewrite history.
Well, and he has a complete administration full of sycophants, like most authoritarians do, that are helping him execute this revisionist history. And the United States of America, quite frankly, has a long history of doing such things. Racism and slavery has been whitewashed for decades, and this is an accelerant to that American way that we haven't seen, where we had really been slowing it down and injecting through truth what really happened to our multicultural society. But this guy is, as everybody knows, he's only interested in his vanity projects. And then he randomly probably gets a phone call from a friend who is in some sort of industry, and then he blows up these crazy economic policies that are just leaving the market bananas. Put up the first one, Kylie. In this one right here, he says, in order to make North Carolina, which has completely lost its furniture business to China and other countries, great again, I will be imposing substantial tariffs on any country that does not make its furniture in the United States. Details to follow. So now he's attacking the furniture industry. As an interior designer, I can tell you how ridiculous this is, because so many parts that go into pieces of furniture might come from Vietnam, might come from other places. Whether they like it or not, the economy is very globalized. In one sofa, in one armoire, in one dresser, you have parts that come from all over the world. And this is just basic misunderstanding of the globalized economy and their desire to isolate us. And it's not even based on a legitimate plan that can be executed. Because if he starts tariffing these other countries where parts, fabric might come from Europe, screws and bolts and legs might come from Asia, and then the actual work where they're built would be done in the United States, it's like biting your nose off to spite your face. And here's his next big pet project. Our movie making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing, quote, candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hard hit. Therefore, in order to solve this long time, never ending problem, I will be imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This is so fucking stupid. It's this man is so dumb, and the people surrounding him are so dumb. And the fact that business leaders have bent the knee to this tells you everything you need to know about where we are. You have MAGA completely beholden to corporate interests and Christian nationalists that have very nefarious methods and want to completely dismantle American democracy. You have the Democratic Party also beholden to corporate interests. And then these corporations, of course, are beholden to their own interest. That is why candidates that are stepping up and completely saying, I want no part of what is a part of the problem are rising. And the Democratic, impotent, weak, limp dick press conferences we see and the strongly worded letters out of Schumer and Jeffries are not even remotely helpful because they're beholden to the same people that Trump's beholden to.
It's really stark how much Trump wants to isolate the United States and take down the United States economy. Like at this point, as incompetent as he is with all these tariffs, which wouldn't you love to know what he invested in and what he short sold before he made this announcement? And then he makes these announcements on Truth Social and then details to follow. What will the details be? We don't know. We don't even know that they will follow because you cannot trust this government. But at the end of the day, the United States economy is failing. The brand is shrinking. The dollar is losing value. And that is simply related to this kind of bullshit government that has no idea what economic policy is.
There's no question about that. And you guys, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for sponsoring our show every single morning when we prepare for these IHIP News episodes. Pumps and I both go to our Ground News Vantage plan. They're basically the Spotify of news, telling you who owns each outlet, where it leans politically, and whether you're reading original reporting or recycled messaging. Here's a prime example. A right-leaning news organization has the following headline: Trump deploys troops to war-ravaged Portland. And it tells you that that article has mixed factuality. So basically that headline is telling you that Portland has some war going on. The left reports it as following: Oregon sues Trump administration over National Guard deployment. And just there, comparing those two headlines, which you can do on your Ground News Vantage plan, it shows you how crazy one particular political side can be because they think that our cities are war-torn. So listener, join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that Pumps and I use every day. They're subscriber funded and female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work. That's Ground, GROUND, news.com/IHIP. Kylie's pinned it right below in the show notes. All right. So here is another banger of a post from Kanks. He's basically threatening, because now they know that Zoran Mamdani is going to win, because listen up, Democrats, he won the primary. Whether you like it or not, the people want a politician that is not beholden to corporations, period. He won. And now Trump, everybody knows he's going to win, because even they probably bribed, because we all know Eric Adams is easy to bribe. He probably got a shit ton of money to drop out, but everybody hates Andrew Cuomo. So Zoran's going to win. And now Trump is threatening to withhold federal funds. He says he is going to have problems with Washington like no mayor in the history of our once great city. He needs the money from me as president in order to fulfill all of his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it. So what's the point of voting for him? There was a time last year, literally months ago, that if somebody said something like this, a president of the United States threatened to withhold funds to a city. And I just want to tell you, New York City is a donor city. Right. They pay in way more money than they get back, as many blue states do. But here he is playing mob boss, threatening not to fund New York City. And this is just the typical bullshit of this administration, where they are telling you that there is a culture war. And really, there's not. They're scapegoating marginalized people because there's a class war. And guess who spoke about the class war? Zoran Mamdani. And other Democrats who speak about this class war are rising. The ones who are beholden to corporate interests like Jeffries, Booker, Schumer, they've got about a 15% approval rating.
Well, and Hakeem Jeffries hasn't even endorsed Mamdani, which we've talked about.
I hope he doesn't.
I hope he does. At this point, I agree with you. It's too late. But I look at Trump and I think, just in that tweet alone, he broke like 50 gazillion laws. Like, that is corruption at the highest level. And I just want to remind everybody, not only does he threaten to withhold funding based on who they pick for mayor, it's, you don't get FEMA money because your district didn't vote for me. Your state's not going to get money from the federal government because your state went blue. It is unbelievable how much this president, because he is a little insecure man, he will only help people that voted for him. And it is so crazy to me that when he breaks all these laws, it's not like he's doing it in the back room talking to aides or White House people. He's posting it on social media.
But this is all the authoritarian play.
Absolutely.
Get the people in the country scared of each other, and he can save you. And you have to join him. And he's going to threaten the people that oppose him. And this is a fascist authoritarian play to a T. And then here is what they do. They want to, if you call them fascist, if you call them Nazis, if you call them anti-democratic, anti-American politicians, which they are. Mm-hmm. They want to say, oh, you can't do that. We're the thought police. You're the terrorists, blah, blah. So here's Stephen Miller, who is the architect of all this insanity. Here is a tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet of Stephen Miller calling the left fascist, communist, terrorists, etc. Meanwhile, they have these national security directives where they are making any of these things, if it's said by somebody on the left, a crime, even mm-hmm. thinking it, a pre-crime, I think is what the majority report called it. They're talking about pre-crimes. And then finally, I want to leave you all with what happened over the weekend with the Ryder Cup. Now, listen, Ryder Cup is a golf match, and you had the Americans versus the Europeans. Sports, you can talk smack. I'm all for that. That's a part of sports. What happened at the Ryder Cup was, in my opinion, the overall magnification of white male culture mm-hmm. that it's not just with Trump, it's with a lot of his subsidiaries, Barstool Sports, Joe Rogan, a bunch of right-wing podcasters, where it's this toxic, tough guy and this fuck you mentality, and we can do whatever we want, and we can say retard, and we can say the F word again, and we're liberated from all this shit. Well, Kanks goes to the Ryder Cup, and he gets a very, very, very warm, friendly applause, because I think the ticket's minimum price was like $700. And so he was super popular there. And I think it made the crowd feel pretty beholden, like pretty emboldened. I'm sorry, emboldened was the word I was looking for. So as the Europeans were golfing, just a lot of slurs, a lot of beyond the line of normal sports. A beer was thrown at one of the wives of one of the European golfers. And anyway, the United States ended up getting their ass kicked. And then the Europeans had this video message for Kanks.
Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching God? Are you watching Donald Trump? Are you watching Donald Trump?
So all these MAGA golf fans were just the typical MAGA. Everybody knows what they're like. They're arrogant. They're assholes. They think they're better than everybody. And I have to say, I love that Europe won this.
I actually did too, because the behavior was so bad. I mean, it is leading on every news station in Europe. I pick up my phone and it's just like how horrible these people were acting. And here's the thing. I agree with you completely. There is no decorum. There is no dignity. There is no class coming out of the White House. The way he speaks about other political figures, the way he goes after private citizens, it surprises me zero that these people were around him and thought, we can all behave like we're at a WWE match because our guy is here and we get to say fuck you and be bullies. And it is just, it's such a sad state of America.
You know, people have always thought this kind of stuff about Americans, the arrogance, and now it was more covert. Now it's completely overt. Now Trump is the manifestation of everything that's ever gone wrong culturally with our country. He is the manifestation of that. And to me, there is no better testament of character right now than somebody who actively supports Donald Trump. If you're an American citizen and you actively support this administration, you are fundamentally a broken, morally collapsed individual. And to me, it's just the biggest tell. This is beyond politics. This is about a shared sense of humanity. This is about decency. This is about standing up for the little guy. This is about standing up for kids that ICE is trolling after school, separate from their parents. And if you're for that, thanks for letting me know, because I think this is a time where it's very black and white. You are either with the fascists or you're against them. And we are 1,000,000% resisting everything that this fascist regime does and says. It is beyond the pale that he even has a mid-30 approval rating. It is absolutely abhorrent that 35% of this country approve of the dismantling of our economy, the dismantling of civil liberties. Shame on the Supreme Court, shame on Republicans, and shame on the Democratic leadership for trying to play patty cake with these fascists. We still have power. The people still have power. We saw it with ABC. We saw what happened. We saw it with Target. And nobody is coming to save us. Court isn't. They're in the bag with him. Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer couldn't find their ass with both hands in a flashlight. They're sure as fuck not going to save us. So we have to organize. We have to keep applying pressure because this is a very, very serious moment. All right. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back later with more news.